Good evening, guys and gals, if there are any. How you doing? Let's see if I'm live. I think I'm live, and I think I may have audio. If I don't have audio, let me know. But all the meters are moving, so I think I'm good. I think I'm good. How is everybody tonight? Let's see. We got 5 people here. Who's here? I saw a couple of early birds. RD, how you doing? And Exploration Obsession. Thanks for stopping by. Mars. I'm sorry. How you doing, Mars? Hey, buddy. How are you? I'll tell you what. I sent out a bunch of invites. Mars, I don't know if I got you one or not, but you know what I'm going to do instead of just emailing invites to a lot of guys who just never come on or want to for some reason, and that's okay. I think I'm going to put the link in the chat, and anybody wants to come in, we'll see if you got room. Love to have you. So let me go ahead and get that link here. Still getting used to StreamYards here. And we're just going to paste it right here in the chat. So come and get it. Anybody wants to come in is welcome. The more the merrier. I always have more fun when I have a bunch of people in here, more like a club meeting than just me trying to entertain, because I'm not really an entertainer. Hey, Peter, Carol, Thomas, we got to clear this up once and for all. Do you pronounce your name? If it's Tomas, put 1 in the chat. If it's Thomas, put 2 in the chat. If it's none of the above, put 3 in the chat, because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Oh, Mars, that's too bad. I hope you're all right. Hope it's nothing serious. Who else we got? Well, it's been hasn't been the greatest flying weather down here in Central Florida. We have had rain like every day, and not just the times that it rains, but what it does is it soaks the ground. So, I usually go out to our model airplane flying field, but unfortunately it's closed because it's half underwater. So built these drones, and I can do a little test top here next to my house, but I can't do too much flying close to home here because I'm in Tomas. Okay, it's Tomas, if I got that correct. Tomas, that's going to be hard because I've been calling you Thomas. Oh, he retracted it. So let's see. Maybe he put the wrong number in there. I bet you it's Thomas. Oh, 1. Okay, Tomas. All right, if I'm wrong, correct me. We've been, I can do little short hops close to my house, but he put 1 again. Hey, Ed, how you doing? Good to see you. I threw the link up there to the StreamYard in the chat. If anybody wants to join, love to have you. Makes the time go, gives me something to talk about. I really, unlike a lot of the guys like Ken Herron and Greg Coonard, Osby Drone, that script out and plan out a whole show with production and everything. Mine are not real. I don't even consider them shows. It's just kind of a get together, and unfortunately, if nobody comes to join me, sometimes I get quite a crowd. But I don't know if it's the strange time. It's okay. I'm trying to talk and read the chat, keep up with the chat at the same time. I don't even remember what I was saying. But I have an excuse. So I don't know how many of you guys watched that that build that I did on that Tyro 179, but I did actually take it out and did a little everybody's telling me I can do it alone. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I did take it out and hover it a little bit, and it does hover fine. Here it is, and it's big. The thing is big. Compared to a little Emax Tiny Hawk, it's big, and even with the even compared to a 5-inch, let me get a 5-inch drone here. I was amazed that how much bigger this thing looks than a 5-inch drone. But basically, it's uses the same battery. It's got pretty much the same, maybe a tiny little bit bigger motors, but it's designed to slower RPM to be more like long range flying. And I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but I did finish the build up, and I just wanted to show you how I mounted some of these things. And I think it'd be better if I actually went over to the table over there, and I think it'd show up better on the table. So let me run over there, and I'll show you what I did. I want to zoom in a little bit here. I don't know if getting technical is entertaining or not, but we're going to do it real quick. So let me zoom in there. The challenges on this thing was to mount the different antennas. So what I had was the FreeSky R9M, and it uses this T antenna, if you can see it right there. Let me try this view. Maybe this view will work out better. Yeah, there it is. I think that's better. So at first, I mounted it under the back here, and it reduced the range because it was crossing underneath the carbon fiber plates. So I decided to mount it up on the back of the back plate, and that really worked out nice. And the range is terrific. And then I had mounted my GPS module up here on top of the camera mount. But when I put the GoPro camera in there and turned it on, evidently there was enough electrical noise from the GoPro that it knocked out all the satellites. So the GPS receiver wouldn't work up there. So I took a tip that I had seen on some of the other builds and actually mounted the GPS receiver out on the arm. If you can see it there, it's mounted right. That's underneath the prop. There it is, right there on the arm, and the prop doesn't bother it. And next time I took it out for a little test hop, I got 11, 12 satellites right off the bat. So I think that the antenna situation is real neat. It's got the VTX antenna there. Up above it is the receiver antenna, the T, if you can see it, and the GPS antenna out on the arm. And it turned out to be a pretty neat build. I would rather it not be a bottom mount battery because I'm not crazy about them, but it is what it is. And I will tell you this, it flies. I really didn't have a camera with me when I took it out there. I was just in a hurry to do a hop, so I didn't memorialize the deal. But I will when I actually get a chance to fly it. It flies very. It feels very light on the throttle, and it's very, very quiet. And the props, it's an 1800 kV motor, so the props aren't spinning as fast. It's designed for cruising, and I really think that that it's going to turn out to be a really nice flying quad. Who I got here? Oh, it's Paulie. Hey, Paul. He's driving. I don't know if he can hear me or not. Hey, hello, Earth to Paul. Sure, I get a guess, then he's too busy to talk. Well, there he is.
I can't hear a word. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm in the show.
I
don't know if you guys can hear me. I lost you. I heard you when you first started. I completely lost audio. I'm using earbuds.
No, I hear you. Can you hear me? I
just wanted to try to stop and always invite me into the show, and I'm never able to be there. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Give me a nod, yes, if you can
hear me. Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me, okay.
Yeah.
I don't hear you. So you're going to have to give me sign language.
I'm
going to do
no, I won't. No. How come you can't hear it? You can see it, but you can't hear it.
Let me try restarting my phone maybe and give it another whirl.
Okay.
My first time ever going on the mobile. So
yeah,
I'm almost home anyway, so I'm around the block. Maybe when I get in the house, it'll be all right.
All right, that'd be great. I'll catch up with the chat.
I'm going to shut it down and try to come back because, well, maybe I just shut my Bluetooth off. Maybe it'll stop trying to connect to this. All right.
All right.
Shutting her down. We'll try it again.
Okay.
I'll be back.
He can't hear me, but I'm talking to him anyway. Sure. We got a 10-second delay on the stream.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to let Paul straighten it out, and I'm going to catch up with the chat here. See who's in here. Hey, Mark Centroid, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? I'm going to repost a link to this StreamYard chat, and some of you guys jump in here and join me, and we can talk about this, all the drama that is the YouTube drone community. And we can talk about camera drones and FPV drones, and we can talk about bad weather or anything else that you'd like. Just going to fly and the skies opened up. Chris Hope, how you doing? How you doing, Chris? Boy, the chat just went crazy here. Let me go make sure I got everybody. RC Funds Diversion, how are you? Ed, I got you. Love my drones. Mars is here. Furball. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Good to see you. And we got Chris Hope, Tomas, and and Peter Carroll again. So that's about it. That's nice. We got more of a crowd than I usually have. I don't know if Paul is still there. Let's see what he's doing. No, he's blacked out. So sure, I finally get some company, and it doesn't work out. So that's what I've been up to. Because of the weather, I keep building these drones, and then I don't have a chance to fly them as much as I'd like. Who is that? I can't read it. Drone Life RC, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. And well, there we go. We got Chris Hope in, and well, there we go. We got Chris Hope in, and Paulie keeps trying. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, good, Mitch. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Somebody's got your mute your stream. There you go.
I'm good now.
Man, Chris, I've been seeing you everywhere.
I've been everywhere, man. Right. There's a song out there somewhere, buddy.
Yeah, there used to be a cartoon. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Who was that? You remember? Remember that? I don't remember who it was. It was one of the cartoon deals, but no, man. I'm nowhere. I once in a while I end up popping up. You know where I end up popping up? I always on Spike's show on Saturday night.
Yeah.
that seems
right
to be
in on that show.
Yeah, I guess just another weirdo. The two of us are kind of strange
I don't know about that.
And eccentric characters, but we all have a certain personality, and we either fit in certain places or we don't fit in. There's certainly some members of this drone community who seem to have a click. They click it up, and it works good for them. But not everybody fits into that particular group. So
Right.
it is what it is.
We're all different souls, that's for sure.
Yes, we are. Hey, listen, Chris, I meant to ask you. You weren't involved in that stream with Bill, Greg, and Bill, and Dan, and that whole crew, were you?
No, I was on Greg's show a little bit, and him and Lloyd talked about it quite a bit. And like I did tell Greg, it's been talked about. In my opinion, it's been talked about enough. And
well, the only question
for me, it's been talked about enough.
Yeah, I only had one question. Let me see. I had a Mike Roche here in the chat. Mike. I see I'll bring Ed. Ed is here. I see him down in the waiting room, and Drone Bum, he's here. Let me get these guys in. Paulie, are you there? Or are you still off? Not Paulie's still off. Let's see. And Ed, hey, there he is. How you doing, Ed? Good to see you. Let me change the setting a little bit. Can you hear me, Ed?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Anyway, Chris, what I wanted to ask was, all day yesterday on my YouTube feed, I kept seeing a show. Bill was going to go live at 8 p.m. and Ken was going to be on there with him.
Right. I saw that as well.
Did it happen?
As far as I know, it didn't. I tuned in and I never saw anything and never heard anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to watch it. I was preoccupied with something, and I got, I don't know, maybe 5 after 8. I went looking for it, and it was gone. Not only was it gone, but the mention of the show and everything was gone. So I guess they called it off. But I
guess so. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I, like you, would like to see that come to a nice conclusion.
Yeah.
And I feel for Bill. I don't want to take sides in this because I don't think anything bad really happened. I think it was just a big misunderstanding. But
yeah, here's the deal with that. I don't know. I didn't see it. That people were poking fun, and Ken Herring is a comedian. From what I understand, and he saw a good opportunity to have some fun. Unfortunately,
I have no audio, guys. I'm going to sign off. This is pointless. All you can do is see me. I can't hear what you guys.
All right, boy.
Dad, don't leave, Dad.
Sorry, guys.
When he gets home, maybe he'll come back in. I always enjoy having Paul on.
Dad, don't leave, Dad.
What's that?
I call him Dad, man. He's
Dad.
He's another father, so I call him Dad.
Well, do you remember the Thursday before, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago tonight, Ken did a thing with me. He featured me. I don't know if you saw that. Okay,
I did see it, Mitch.
Okay, so what is it? What does he do? He comes on and with this old guy routine, playing that old 1920s music and going 23 skidoo and just making fun of me, right? And I was rolling on the floor, man. I was laughing my ass off. I thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened. And then because that's, first of all, I asked for it. I ask for it because that's my act, this old guy shtick. I mean, so you can't.
Yeah, the old name, everything. Yeah, old guy.
I mean, if you I am old, but I'm younger than my years for sure. Most people don't consider me an old guy. I don't act like an old guy, But by chronologically, I'm older than most, so that are at least in this hobby. So I thought, well, that'd be good branding. It's kind of cool, old guy, And actually, it dawned on me one day when the moving guys like two men in a truck.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I saw that truck, two men in a truck, and it hit me. Old guy in a drone. And I was looking for a name to brand my little aerial photography business. And I thought, well, that would be really cool. Instead of two men in a truck, it's one old guy in a drone. So that's what I did. And so Ken made fun of me, but he did it in such a manner. And if you watch the replay, I know I did, just to see, he after he got done, he said, sorry, Mitch. Yeah. And then he went on and played my little trailer, and he said, I'm awesome and stuff like that. And I enjoy busting on people. First of all, busting to me is the greatest sign of friendship.
Absolutely.
And I've had people say to me, "What's the matter, Mitch? Don't you like me?" I said, "Why?" "Well, you're always breaking my back. You're always busting on me." I said, "Listen," I said, "when I stop busting on you, then you need to ask me why I don't like you." Because
then you won't even be around. If you stop liking him, you'll never even be there,
So busting on your friends is just what men do. It's just, it's what we do. So, Ken was busted on me a little bit. And to me, that's a compliment, because you don't bust on people unless you're confident enough to know that they're not going to take it seriously, because then it's not busting anymore. Then it's insulting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I'll tell you, he done me like that one time. I had sent him a video about 6 months ago of a I called it a hole in the cloud. I made a bunch of pictures and put it on a video, and I sent it to him. And then next thing I know, he's showing it, and the first thing he does, and y'all have heard me talk enough, you know where I'm from. I'm not from upper state New York.
Really?
And he ragged on me just a little bit. It's comical, it's funny, and man, I could care less. Rip away, buddy.
Drone Life RC says, "Mitch, you're somebody when Ken Hearn makes fun of you."
That's exactly right.
And
that's a good point, Chris.
And I mean, I do it with Spike, I do it with Mikey, Philly Life. He busts on me, I bust on him. Everybody, it's just, and I think that that's what started this whole mess with Bill, and it pains me, because Bill's the guy that got me started in YouTube. So, not that he was a mentor, but he's the guy that gave where I got the idea to do it. And he talked about how much he enjoyed that Tampa fly-in that we did. And he mentioned that I was there. There weren't very many people there. Ken Dono and Billy Kyle and me and him. But it was a lot of fun. And I don't know. I wrote him a nice email trying to basically say, you're taking it all wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be all right in the end when it's all said and done.
I hope so. I hope so. But when he didn't go on last night, I said, "Oh, he's going to quit this whole thing." I'd hate to see that.
I don't think he will. He'll be all right. He's a good guy, and I like watching his stuff, and I'd almost bet that he's probably, for what it's worth, he's learned a little bit, and I learned a little bit from what transpired. Just like we all did.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll tell you one thing I learned. I learned that when there's a lot of drama, you get a lot of views. I mean,
I'll tell you what, man.
Mel had 50, 60 people on his live stream that night, and he started it off as a simulator thing. He was just going to go on and burn some hours, fly simulators.
Right. Bear with me a second, Mitch.
Okay, I will. So how you do, Ed? You been doing any flying?
Yes, I have. And I am quite proud of myself, because this is a Mobula 7 board, and the receiver had gone bad on it. So I ordered a new receiver, and I mean, excuse me, a new flight controller because the receiver is built onto the main board. They got a new board and managed to change it out. And man, these little boards are teeny. I mean, that's a loop crank, a loop board, man.
Can you imagine soldering on that thing?
No, I had to.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I soldered. This is the old one. The new one now resides in the drone, and it has flown and flies quite well, I might add.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, those things, I built a couple of these 3-inch quads and with those little 20 millimeter controllers. And man, you go cross-eyed soldering on those things, but the ones they put in these whoops are so small.
I don't know what it's a Speedy B F4 B20. It's actually made for the Mobile HD.
Okay.
The same bird you got. So this board was only 2S capable. The one I put in it is a F4 versus a F3, and it's 3S capable. But I got a bunch of 1S packs because the original Mobula uses 2 1S packs in series to make a 2S pack.
Okay. Oh, speaking of 2S packs, I saw it. Did you guys see that new little toothpick thing that Emax just came out with? I just watched it. 2 videos were released today. Evidently, the thing just got released. It's a Tiny Hawk. They bill it as a Tiny Hawk, but it's got they call it a Tiny Hawk Freestyle, and it's got a carbon frame.
Yep.
And
it's a nice looking build too, by the way.
Yeah, it's a little over $100. And the guys who did, Andy RC and somebody else did a review of it, Drone Camps, and they were raving about the thing, how well it flies like a bigger quad. So I don't need another quad. I almost, I'm ready to order one already, but that's the problem. I just can't. I'm gonna have to have a flea market here pretty soon, clean house, so I can start building some more.
Yeah.
I wish it would dry out a little bit so we can fly. You getting any flying in, Chris?
Get a new bird, Mitch, when you've done all you can with the old one. Okay, now I get doing the different sizes though. I mean, a whoop versus a 3-inch versus a 2-inch and a 5-inch. I understand having that spread. Okay, but I mean, how many 5-inchers do you need or whatever?
Well, that's not the point. Unfortunately, I enjoy building them. To me, that I could build them. I just like to build them, and to me, that's part of the hobby. And I don't want to go out there and bust them up just so I can build them. So.
Well, maybe you need to start marketing old guy drones.
Yeah, maybe. God, I mean,
you built computers before for money. Why not build drones for money?
Because there's really no money in it. It really is not hardly worth it, because you can buy them already built from the factory for the sum of the parts. For exactly what they charge for the components. Well, we got another visitor that popped into the green room here. Guys, I don't know. He's always hanging around all these chats. Should we let him in? Oh, okay.
I don't know. Who is he? Oh, that's character. You gotta watch out, Mitch.
We just got done saying that if we bust on you, it means we love you. Okay, so remember that.
I can take it. I dish it out for me. I need a good beating. What's up, Ed and Les? Right?
Chris.
No, Chris.
Oh.
That's Chris right on the screen.
Oh man.
So when are you going south? Maryland is south of New York, right?
Yeah, last I looked.
I don't know, man. I never was good with Northeastern geography. I'm a Southern boy. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's hard to tell.
Is it?
Right.
Pretty obvious where we're from.
Check out this quad, Mitch. Mars is he wants me to buy more quads. I'll check it out, Mars.
Actually, Mitch, the rat rod by Flynoceros.
What?
It's called the rat rod by Flynoceros.
It's very cool, old guy on a drone, and it would fit you very well since you're so old and decrepit and stuff.
No, it's also because he likes to cruise. It's not necessarily one of those, flip and twist and turns. Yeah. It's definitely a cruiser.
I think that we're going to see the rise of the popularity of the cinematic FPV.
The slow flow.
Not slow, no, fast, fast and smooth, and kind of like a Mavic on steroids. Because there are times that you just want to get that nice footage when you're down, and you want it to be faster than you get with a Mavic. You just want it to be faster, and you want to bank. You want to bank like you're flying. You know what I mean? And you're starting to see more and more of this kind of flying in cinematic, in professional cinematic areas. And I think, see, I'm not interested in flying in and out of concrete buildings and parking garages so that everybody else can say, wow, man, look at that guy. I'm too old for that stuff. If I was a kid,
I don't know about all that. You're not too old for it. It's just not your thing. I think
that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any of you that like the cinematic aspect and what a race drone can do cinematic wise should check out Virgin FPV. And he's got one of where there's base jumpers or jumping off a cliff out in the desert. And he's following them on their free falls, and then when they pop the chute and all that, and it is incredible, amazing footage.
Oh, they do some. I saw a guy today following a wakeboarder on a boat with the new, and he was using the new DJI digital FPV thing, and it was, I was watching this, and the guy. When he would jump awake, and as he was airborne, this guy would come around him,
Wow.
And I mean, and I'm saying to myself, that right there is the drone footage that is new and different. But for me, I don't want to break my equipment. And no, guys.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying, guys, and that's just an old habit of mine. I mean, from building RC airplanes for 50 years and spending 6 months building one of these things, you don't want to wreck them. So you end up being a very cautious, very careful pilot. But with the drones, they're built to crash almost, and
almost is the key word, man.
But the guys go out there and brag about the fact that, I've gone through 40 GoPros in the past 2 weeks, I
hope they have a good pocketbook.
Somebody's got an echo going on here.
Not me. I mean, is it possible that you're hearing me through the phone?
No, not when you talk, but I heard an echo before. So it's all right. Somebody had something turned. It's gone now.
I finally picked up some batteries, 4S. So now I can. Oh, Vonix. Dun, 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 dun. Look, the little sticker I got with it. So cool.
Oh,
no, I got
stickers.
some 1300 milliamps and some 1550s.
Oh, super. Where'd you get them?
Those I got from Amazon, and the 1550s are only $17.99.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive for that size. It's a very popular size. The 4S between 1500 is where most 5-inch quads are going to use. And people are going to
50 milliamps also.
Mike Roche wants to know if I want to get into monster trucks, maybe. Yeah, I can see me doing that. Yeah.
I used to fly over them. There's somebody that Rulin Drone TV puts on that was at one of these like monster trucks shows, and he was flying around in the stadium while they were, driving around. It was pretty cool. All good stuff.
Yeah, and so for me, I would, I'm not stretching it out as much as I could learning to fly these things. I'm not, because I don't want to break the drone. So I'm not trying to fly through small gaps and push it and see just what craziness I can pull off.
I do like the gaps a little bit. I also like flying low to the ground. That's what I also try to concentrate on. I like that sensation.
I completely get all that, and I try and avoid crashing when I can.
Did you fly any today, Ed?
No, not yet. I will.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I flew last
it's way too hot and humid here.
And I actually flew my first fresh pack last night because I had to drain all those old batteries that have been charged up for 2 months first.
Right. Good.
Yeah. Do you guys put your batteries into storage if you don't use them?
No.
No, sir, I don't.
You don't. Well, the Mavic batteries do it by themselves. Yeah.
You don't need to do it, but
they'll discharge down to storage after so many days. But the FPV batteries, if you leave them charged, they say if you it's no good to leave them fully charged and for a long period of time.
Yeah, and see, that's the key word. Define long.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of them will say, if you're not going to fly them for 6 months, then you should put them to storage bubble. And the one time I tried that, the charger I have, I think took the voltage way too low. With proper storage charge, I think it's like 7.4 volts on a 2S battery. And
yeah, you want to shoot for 3.8 volts per cell.
3.8 volts per cell. So that'd be
7.76.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's I've got on my charger there is a storage, and it's kind of nice. There's a storage mode. So
yeah, but let me ask you this, Mitch. Okay, I don't mean to interrupt, but so at what length of time do you decide to bring your batteries back to storage charge if they've been fully charged?
Well, if they're fully charged, I'm going to fly them before that length of time happens, which I would say maybe a week or two. If I haven't flown them in a week or two,
that short, I should.
Yeah, a week or two, I'll throw them on there and draw them down because to charge them from storage to full doesn't take too long. So if I know I'm going to go out flying in the morning, I'll throw the batteries on charge the night before, and sometime in the next week I'm going to use them. You know what I mean? And and occasionally, maybe I've charged up some smaller ones for this little bugger, and I don't fly this little bugger. And so if I see they're still in my bag after a week and a half, I throw them on a charger. It's no big deal. Throw them on a charger because it's good to cycle them anyway. It's good to keep the current, coming and going in those things. It makes them last longer.
I'm not one to refresh the charge. I just went through a whole bag of batteries I had that had been sitting around for like 2 months because the mobile and I'd never stuck one of them on charge. I just went ahead and threw them on down.
Nice and chubby.
They do. They blow up. They get the little ones. The little one cells puff up. Yeah.
Great.
I've been using lipos for 20, 30, way back when they first came out, because we started flying electric RC airplanes, and
they're the same.
Yeah, well, they started with lithium ion, then they went to lithium polymer, and the lipos are pretty much the same today. They've refined it a little bit, and we never thought about discharging them and putting them on storage charge. We never thought about that stuff. We charged them up, we flew it. If not, they just sit there. But eventually they got puffy. And I don't know who keeps track or who keeps logs of exactly how many flights you're going to get out of out of each battery. I don't keep track of them.
What do you think is a good amount of time for a battery to last?
Believe it or not, I have two lipos that are 15 years old from my old RC airplanes.
Do you still use them?
I flew one on that little foam 100-mile-an-hour thing, and it worked fine. And that thing was 10, 15 years old. So
time in flight, basically.
I don't know. I don't keep track. I'm not a scientist when it comes to that stuff.
No. What I'm saying is 15 years ago, if you got 3 minutes out of the flight, did you get 3 minutes again?
It would have been a different airplane. It would have been hard to tell. Gotcha. All I know is I got long enough that I was happy with it. And the battery's not puffed up. That's the only thing that I look for in these lipos. If they're not puffed up, I figure they're probably okay.
They're still flyable.
You will notice something, Carlos, as you fly, though. The length of time that the battery lasts is not necessarily an indication of how good the battery is, but rather how much you're pushing it. Because I've taken a nice, relaxed little fly and have that battery last 3 or 4 minutes longer than when you're out there going crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely.
And not only that, but it doesn't take, you push a battery down too low. You push the voltage down into 2.7, 2.6, 2.8 volts a cell, trying to get the drone back or something, or trying to get over that last hump. And that's when you'll just wreak havoc on your batteries. One time you can take a brand new battery and you let it run down to where the drone won't fly anymore. And even some of the guys giving advice on on FPV flying, they tell you when you're in beta flight, I never leave my minimum battery at 3.3. Volts per cell. That flashing thing bugs me. I put it down to 2.8. Well, if you're a professional guy and you're on top of your battery voltage every second, you don't need the thing to remind you. But if you're an amateur like me, you need that thing flashing at you.
Okay. Mitch, you bring up one of my pet peeves and what I say to people when they first get, whether it be a little whoop or a 2S bird or whatever, and it's the same thing you're talking about, because they need to set their battery voltage when they really should land. And a lot of times the birds, the battery voltage that they have set for minimum or when the warning is, in my book, is too high. So I set it at like 3.2 for warning and 3.0 for land now.
Really?
Critical. And the thing is, the warnings are great, but they don't do a darn good if the voltages are set too high and you ignore them the whole time.
Well, that's absolutely true. And and also if you set your thing to land now at 3 volts, you're all right. You're probably okay as long as you do land now when it says.
Well, I try and land when I start getting warning.
Well, think about how much these batteries cost. That's all you got to do. When that light starts flashing, think, I don't want to wreck this battery.
Get your mind right.
I think all this up because this is one of my original Mobula batteries, and it has this outer casing on it. When I can squeeze on it, and it feels like an air pillow.
Yeah, it's puffed up. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's poke a little pinhole in it. I don't mean into the battery part. I mean just to release the
No, that's the battery that's puffed, man. You liable to do that. You'll have flame. You could have flames shooting out of that thing if you're not careful. Chris, what were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, money. When that starts blinking, that's money flashing at your face.
That's money, and that's why the Mavics have all that stuff built in where that you get that battery down to critical. And that drone is landed. How many guys have you seen on these live streams get in trouble because that drone is landing because
they're not paying attention.
DJI doesn't want your battery to go to nothing. And yet some of these guys will run them down to 0.
Well, let's
As
see.
a test,
Who comes to mind right now with the down to 0 crap? He
Drone
was
bomb?
here earlier, actually.
Drone bomb.
Oh,
Has
well,
to be
yeah.
free.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, we don't want to. He Paul's in the chat. We don't want to remind him of that. That's a painful.
hello,
Oh,
Paul.
is he here? I thought he left.
That's a pain. He's down. I saw him in the. I
Paul.
think I saw him in the chat. But that was a painful lesson, and that happens to you. Not that you ignored the battery, but you're going for that. You're pushing for that record. You're pushing for that Guinness Book thing, and
My
those
3S start flashing at 10.5.
yeah.
Dude, hey, Paul,
Time to come back.
okay, I watched that video and I watched it in its whole painful entirety.
Yeah,
okay?
we all did. I think.
And I was rooting for you the whole time. Oh man, I can't believe he's made it this damn far. You know, he's coming, you know.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have been standing on the beach watching it. I would have stolen a rowboat or something. I would have been out there heading the other way, man, trying to get to the damn thing.
How low do you take your 4S batteries, Mitch?
I don't ever. I'll tell you what. Just so I don't have to keep doing the math in my head, because I fly a 1 cell, then I'll fly a 3 cell, then I'll fly a 4 cell. I always put average cell voltage on my OSD, so that I see the voltage of a single cell instead of the total battery. I put average cell voltage, so I'm always looking at the same.
Okay, Mitch, that's a good point. I like the fact you brought that up. How does the bird know what the cell voltage is?
Well, here's the it
doesn't.
It does. It knows you're flying a 4S.
So it divides it by 4, but
divides it by 4, right? And if you've got good batteries, you're never going to get that wide of if you're getting that wide of variation between cells, you got to throw that damn battery away. You got to check your batteries every once in a while and see if all of your cells are close to each other, because when you got one cell that's way behind the other 3, that's the time to get rid of that battery, because it's going to fail on you.
That's a problem. Speaking of fail, you have a fail safe, Mitch?
A fail safe on the drone?
Yes.
Yeah, most of them, unless it's got a GPS, it's set to drop. Is that what you're talking about?
You experienced that, is what I'm saying.
Oh, the only time I'll tell you, my little this little bugger, the Tiny Hawk. Every once in a while, if I'm flying it in the house, and it gets sometimes. I don't know what it does, but sometimes for no reason on a fresh battery, if it's a really hot battery, it just drops. And you see the fail safe, and then the minute you drain the battery down a little bit, then it's okay. But you take the thing off and you fly, and it just boom, just falls right out of the sky.
That's happened to me quite a number of times with that, but not with any of your big birds.
No.
I just experienced it recently, and I wasn't that far, and just boom.
Okay,
straight down 40, 50 feet with the
Japulera.
All I did was break Japulura, and all I did was break a prop, so I was very happy. It's a tough bird.
Yeah, those things are pretty rugged. I've got the I'm building most of the bigger ones now with even that little 3-inch. Where's I got it here? Even this thing, the little Acrobat. Yeah, I put the GPS module out here. See it on the arm. Okay. And that always sees the sky. It's a great place to mount them, and it takes it away from the interference of mounting it here over the flight controller or near the VTX and all that other stuff. But this is set with the GPS rescue. Gotcha. And I tested it. I took the thing out to the club flying field. I forgot to turn the damn recorder on my DVR. So, and I didn't have the camera in it. I didn't have the camera in it because I knew I was going to be testing it. And I figured, well, if it all goes wrong, I don't want to lose the camera too. But I took it out about, I'd say about 600 meters. It was out, And I hit the GPS rescue, and damn, the thing didn't come right back. It just, I mean, we shouldn't be that amazed because the Mavics, you know, our DJI stuff does it all the time. But this thing just jumped right up to 50 meters high and turned around and flew back to me about 35 miles an hour and then started coming right at me. It started descending, which is what it's supposed to do.
Wow.
And you're supposed to, with the GPS rescue, just take over, because it's not auto land. It's the whole idea of it. It's just to get it back.
Here's the thing. I think that's not going to be short lived, Paul. I mean, Mitch, because I think it's going to get to be where you can hit a flip the switch, the GPS rescue mode, and that thing land 15 feet in front of you.
Well, they have the technology for it. The technology is there, certainly, if you're using some of the more, you know, the iNav protocols. But the whole purpose of the GPS rescue in flying the FPV drones is to be there for you when your goggles go out.
Exactly.
Or the drone flies out of range and fail safes. And the whole purpose of that is just to get it back into range so you can get your eyes back, you know. And you know, when I had it out 600 meters, I had it set up, I think, on 500 milliwatts. I had an okay signal, but it was really starting to get flaky on me, almost unflyable. In fact, that's why I finally flipped the thing. But if it had gone out there, you flip the thing, and if it does what it's supposed to, as soon as it gets a little closer to you, you'll get your video feedback. And at that point, you turn off the GPS rescue and you're flying again. It's for a $15 little $15 GPS unit is all you need to throw on the quad, and Betaflight handles all that already. It's pretty good insurance. It's pretty good insurance. Yeah.
Have you ever had your goggles go black on you, Mitch?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't had that happen.
Because I wasn't paying attention to the
power.
Oh, that's another way to ruin. You know, if you use a lipo for your goggles, that's another way to ruin a good lipo, because
I use the Fat Shark USB charge.
Oh, okay.
What do you use for your goggles, actually?
I use a lipo. I use a 3-cell. Okay. Yeah, 3-cell 1500. I can use it for a quad. If I got a 5-inch and I want to fly it docile, you know, I could throw a 3-cell in it. I haven't gone to the 6 cells yet, and I don't think I'm going to. I don't need it. These 4 cells is more, you know, more than enough performance. I'm not racing. I'm not diving through gates and all that stuff. So,
but I mean, you still want to do your flips, your rolls, and your split S's and all that, right? You want
to
learn those.
You don't need you don't need a lot of power for that. And I like getting up real high.
Do you really? Okay.
Blasting it way up high, and then just pull the throttle back and do a big ass power and hang up there, and then do that big ass power loop, and maybe roll a couple times on the way down but to me that's what I enjoy. And look, each of us has got all right, listen, guys, we live in a democracy here.
Yes.
And I got somebody in the green room here that
I can go out.
We have I got room for 6, but you know, we got to make sure we really want this guy in here.
You talking about that art character?
Arco.
Hey,
what's up, Bart?
Great to be here.
How you doing? Let me find one that is this the one. This is the one.
There
I want.
we go. There we go.
God, you give an old guy too many push buttons and you're in trouble.
There's Mitch and Chris and
Hollywood
and Carlos and everybody. I feel like the Brady Bunch almost.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rick Halbert.
One more for the Brady Bunch.
How did this happen? Rick Halbert is in the chat. Okay.
Woohoo!
Rick Halbert is in the chat, and he's white,
as opposed to
blue.
Oh,
this is not a racist. How is that possible? This is not a racist comment.
Blue versus.
Usually I say there's a white man in the chat, but I don't want to get a big political argument started. But anyway, how the hell did Rick's been in my streams before? How did he skate by without having Blue red. All right, Rick, you got it, baby. How you doing? Fly Naturals here too.
Fly naked. That's what I
Fly
call him.
Natural. He's blue. See,
right there.
Roosevelt is blue. Roosevelt is blue.
What's his name? Roosevelt. Yeah, Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. Yeah. How you doing, Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate it.
Mr.
Brent
President.
Nunley's here. Drone Shots is here.
So I told you already, Mitch, right? I'm getting an Acrobat, a 6-inch Chameleon, and a 5-inch Schizo.
Holy shit! You trying to outdo the old guy? You trying to have more drones?
No. I just want more variety. That's all.
So you're getting the Acrobat? Are you getting the actual genuine real one, or are you getting the knockoff one like I got?
No, I believe it's the actual one.
Oh, God.
I'll double check on that.
You're getting the Oh My God one. God. That's his name, God. You know, the kid from Rotor Riot. What's his name?
Hey, Mitch, I just have one thing to say. Blue helmets, orange jerseys, go Broncos!
Oh, jeez. Hey, it's been nice seeing you, Art. Thanks for stopping by. No,
Broncos are playing tonight. They're playing the Seahawks.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about hockey?
Football. Yeah, hockey.
Here we go again. It's time for football again.
Yep.
Soon. I know they're practicing. I don't watch sports.
Well, this is preseason.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do not like sports. I don't like watching sports. Love to play.
Yeah, when they started kneeling during the national anthem.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's when I stopped watching football for a couple of years.
Yeah, that stuff.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You guys are making millions of dollars and you're complaining about the country that gives you all the,
we won't get
let's
I can hear that all day long everywhere I go. I'm with 1,000% too, but I want to do this on here without.
Yeah, we'll do it on my show. Remember Sunday.
Yes, I like that. Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Hey, Carlos, we got a great guest. We got former Congressman Tom Tancredo will be joining us.
Sunday. Sorry, I didn't mean to get political, Mitch, but it was brought up, so I.
No, that's okay. I don't have a rule like Canadian Drone Hub, no politics, but I know that we're probably all like-minded, so we're probably just preaching to the choir anyway, and all we'll do is just get ourselves pissed off. And
what you gonna do, Mitch?
I used to tell people, I used to say, I don't need to come here. I don't need to come here to get all upset. I can get all of that at home that I want.
Yeah, right.
Ain't that the truth? I don't think it's such a big deal either way. People should have their voice their own thing, get out. That's it. Call it a day.
Yeah.
You don't want to worship a flag either, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to talk about that here. How about them Yankees?
How about them Yankees? How about them Rockies?
The Mets have won 13 out of 15 or 14 out of 15 games, or whatever that's worth. If you follow baseball, that's another boring sport.
That's worse than football, for God's sake. I'd rather watch golf.
Oh man, that's like watching paint dry, I think.
See, here's the thing with golf. Now, Chris, I understand what you're saying, but see, the thing is with, at least like with the Masters and whatever, they got a whole bunch of guys out there, so they keep flashing to the exciting part.
Yeah.
If you're just going to watch it.
Hey, he hit the ball. Look at that. Wow, look at it go.
That's just a bunch of
Doesn't
guys.
that look nice?
Bunch of y'all that don't play golf. That's what's wrong.
Yeah, well, my father was a golfer, and that's all he did. He was a pharmacist and a golfer.
Oh,
and he did nothing else. That was it. And he had a drugstore, and he worked like 3 days every other day, and he had another pharmacist that worked for him every other day, and every other day he went out and played golf. And he read golf magazines, and he watched golf on television, and he tried to get me to play golf, and I hated it. but he drugged me.
I didn't like taking that little white ball around, did you, man?
He drugged me around on that course, and this was back in the old days before everybody had a golf cart. We walked, dragging those clubs behind us, and
Did you always live in Florida?
What's that?
Were you born and raised in Florida?
No, I was born in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay.
Yeah, all of the really famous, great YouTube guys are from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mitch.
I learn every day.
I got my high top boots on today. It's good.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You know what? I like golfing so much. I've got club feet.
Oh God. Oh, where is it? Here it is. Oh, right. I don't use that too much, but
No, just when I'm on.
just when it's appropriate. But, and I got this one for the Australians and the Spike especially. But I don't know, Spike. I haven't the past 2 or 3 weeks. He hasn't been around during my stream. And then 2 days or 3 days later, I get a comment on the video that he can't believe. He says, "I can't believe I missed it again." Oh, look who's here!
A little bit different.
Hey, Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Good job.
How you doing? What are you? You're blurry there, Roosevelt. What happened?
Yes, I have clothes on.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Good job.
How are you, Fly Natural? Good to see you, brother.
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there, brother.
Have you ever thought of flying FPV at all? Have you given it a thought or two?
A little bit.
Hey, once you go the dark side, brother, you ain't coming back.
Hey, I just enjoy seeing you guys do it. I'm gonna stick to the safe sensors and everything for me, but I love watching you guys.
Safe sisters and all.
Mitch, show him the tiny hook.
Oh, my what?
Tiny hook.
The tiny hook.
Roosevelt, your tiny hook. You could handle that, Roosevelt.
Oh yeah, I could probably handle something.
Let me tell you something about this drone. You could take this little bugger outside and
it's fun.
and fly what 40, 50 miles an hour. I mean, this thing gets up in scoots when you put the coals to it. And on the other hand, you can throw it into angle mode, which is stabilized. So it's not going to roll over on you. And it flies more, not gyro positioned, but stabilized, where you fly it more like you fly a camera drone. You got to push the stick forward to make it go forward. When you let go of the stick, it levels off again. And you use mostly your left stick to turn. You usually yaw it around. And I don't know if you've seen some of the videos I've shot with this thing in my house, but you talk about great practice, man.
I could probably definitely handle something like that.
And here's the best part of it. After you fly one of these things for a little while, you'll get so hooked that the next thing you know, you'll be building these friggin' things.
Yeah. Man, that's the thing, Fly Natural. And see, okay, I flew stabilized birds for like 3 years. And when I flipped the switch to go acro mode, I was not having a good time. I was not doing well. Because with the stabilized bird, you jam that right stick forward to go as fast as you can, and you're just still not going as fast as you can, or as you want to. You get used to that, but you can't do that once you go into acro, because
you start doing this.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I call it freeing your mind, and from the stabilized world. And the little bird that Mitch just showed you, a whoop-like bird that's got power to it, got some good brushless motor to it, it's tough. You can crash it again and again.
Right.
You can fly this right into yourself and it won't bother you.
Yeah.
You can take this out to any park anywhere where there's a lot of people and nobody will ever be scared of it or offended or say it's dangerous for you to be flying that. Yet you could take this thing and hit the throttle on and it'll shoot up in the air like a rocket ship. It's and it's $100.
You need one of these.
About how long do the FPVs? How long would a whoop like that, the battery last on it?
About 3.5 minutes on this.
Hey, look, fly natural. By the time you've flown a little bird like that for 3 minutes, you're ready to.
You had enough.
You put another battery in it, but you want to catch your breath, and that's the way it works. But that's how flying is with these little guys, man. I'm telling you, man, it's the best thing ever.
It really is, and it brought back. I'll tell you what it brought back for me was the reason why I was an RC pilot all my life, because if you've ever flown RC, you know you're flying. You're flying. If you let go of the sticks, your airplane crashes. It's not just going to sit there and wait for you to come back from going.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
And when you throw these things into acro mode, they're not. All the stability is taken off. If you bank it over, you have to push it back the other way to level it off. Okay, just like a real airplane. You bank it, and it'll stay banked until it's stable in a bank until you unbank it. And to me, that's flying. And I had forgotten almost because I hadn't.
Well, it's just. You're just basically It's all manual control. You have control over it.
But you put those goggles on, and you're inside the thing now. See.
So now you are actually flying.
You are in
the pilot seat.
You are, which is why they call it first-person view, and it is addictive. Ken Herron, just look at Ken. Ken is on the road to being addicted, but he put out his video a month or two ago flying this little thing.
Yeah,
he's got one, and Mel's got one of these now. And Ken, he actually, he's not ashamed to admit that he makes mistakes and screws up, and I'm not ashamed to admit, and you shouldn't be. You should want to share your mistakes. Matter of fact,
trial and error.
But you want to share your mistakes with other people because that's how you learn. But he put it. He came out and basically said, I put it in acro mode and crap my pants. That's kind of what happens the first. I don't know. He didn't use those words, but that was the feeling he was trying to get across. Is that it's a whole different deal. Yeah, it's a whole different.
That's what I meant when Fly Natural said, "Well, how long is the battery life?" And that's when I said, after 3.5, 4 minutes, you're ready to land that bird and take a break.
Well, that was the same thing when I used to fly those turbine-powered jets. Okay.
Oh, I can't even imagine that.
People would say, how long a flight you get on those things? I would say, I don't know, 6 minutes. Is that all? I said, listen, my friend, these things go 200, 250 miles an hour. Yeah. You hang on to this thing for 6 minutes, you're ready to land and sit down and have a beer, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the drones. Now, I think that when you fly what they call them long range drones. They've got the long range receivers in them, high power transmitters. They're bigger, like this Tyro 129, this 7-inch job. It's designed to cruise around, and you put the GoPro on top and get some of that cinematic stuff.
I can't remember. There was a guy, Chris. What was the guy's name that came to spin up last year? He made that great big FPV drone. I can't remember his name, but he had a nice one, and it was just cruising around the stadium, and he could make it do flips and stuff, but he was just kind of cruising.
That's my style. That's my style of flying, and I'll never be a Mr. Steele, nor do I want to be. That's just not doing it to prove anything. I'm doing it to have fun.
What do you think, Roosevelt? Sound almost tempting now that you saw this different, little ones.
I've thought about trying it because I'll sit there and watch Ed Ricker's stuff, and I'll just be like, dang, that's amazing.
Well, you don't have to be as wild. You don't have to be shooting gaps and all that stuff with it. Just get up. Just believe it or not, just to get up and fly around like you're in the air and look around.
Yeah, It
You
gives
will
you a different
never feel
perspective
more
of
like a
everything.
bird.
Yeah, it's like one step past the experience you get with a Mavic with the DJI goggles. Yeah, you got a cleaner FPV, you got a cleaner feed in those goggles. It's digital, but you still don't have the feeling of flying, because until you're banking, you don't really feel like you're flying.
Gotcha.
And you feel like you're just observing. Let's say you're perched on a tripod that's moving around.
Here we go.
Oh, he's got the DJI
Carl,
goggles.
come on, Carlos. Let's see you orbit around your head with
Carlos,
it.
do you have the racing edition too, or just the regular?
No.
ones?
I'm getting rid of all my camera drones, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna trade my camera drones for FPV. I'm out of DJI.
You're really hooked, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like going from it's just I tell you what, Mitch, when was the last time you flew a camera drone?
I tell you, it's been months since I had my Mavic.
There you go.
It's true. I'll fly them if I have a reason to now.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have time to fly, I'm grabbing. I want to go fly. I want to go play with, because I want to fly. I want to fly. Now, I got a job coming up where I'm going to get paid to do some photography. So then I'll fly to Mavic, and I'm going to keep them. I've got a Mavic 2 Pro and a Zoom, so that I'm covered for pretty much anything that I need to do. If I can't get too close to something, I got the Zoom. If I really want to get a little better image, I'll use the Pro. But I'm really not going after work or anything.
You gotta go somewhere. You can only take so much camera bird footage of the same spot. That means you need to go somewhere. Yep. But an FPV flight in the same spot day after day can be a different flight every day.
Yeah. It's just and
it's like going from a car to a bicycle. It just and the camera drones being the bicycle. I mean, it's just so slow compared to what you're flying. You're standing still. It's just no more fun unless you're actually looking for something on film.
We got EBR in the chat. How you doing?
So who's seen Ed Ricker's underwater drone?
I don't even want to look.
Oh boy, I want one.
Yeah,
because I love water, and I'm a fisherman too.
I like the concept of the power vision of the one that can actually go underwater, but I don't like how it's tethered to a line and it can only go so far.
It has to, because Wi-Fi can't penetrate the water.
Even radio waves can't.
Yeah, that too. So it has to be tethered.
Maybe 2 feet under, and then you're gonna lose signal without that tether.
So I guess you never really lose it because you can just pull up on the wire, right?
Unless a shark comes up and eats it.
Or you get hooked on something that you can't, break free from it, and then you're really screwed. But
DJI has lost me as a customer and whatever. Not interested anymore. And all those updates you got to keep doing. You're married to them. They tell you where you can fly, how you can fly. I mean, don't get me wrong. Rules are good. You don't want to obstruct airplanes or hurt people. But I mean, I'm done.
Hey, Carlos, you just need to move the country, man. You don't have that problem.
We don't. Like Chris.
I live in between JFK, John F. Kennedy Airport, and LaGuardia Airport.
Me and Chris, Chris lives in Texas, and I live in Arkansas. We don't hardly have to worry about regulations or anything.
Yeah, right. I hear you flying natural. See, flying in New York,
When I first picked up my drones, it was more about flying and never really about photography. I just love the idea that I can stand here and look at something and fly. Just fly. It was like, wow, this is great. It was a great thing. I got the goggles even better, and now I dove into that FPV, and now this stuff is slow motion to me.
Right.
It's just I mean,
I can see that. No,
it's great. I love it.
Mitch, Drone Pool Dan would like to have a link for that GPS module.
Race day quads. Here, let me look it up. I'll get it for you.
Hey, Mitch, well, you got a second. I'm going to cut loose, guys, and go get supper started. And wife's got to bake a cake tonight.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Chris, good to see you.
It's always good to see you, Chris. Even if I do see a lot of you everywhere on everybody's stream all the time, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
And you know you're welcome here anytime, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Take
Y'all have
care,
a
buddy.
good one, guys. Carlos, take
yeah,
care.
I can understand you, Chris.
You see, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with the way we talk. Ah,
Be nice.
y'all have a good one, guys.
To everybody else who has an accent.
Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, you don't have an accent, Carlos. That's right. I forgot.
I don't know.
We all have accents.
Coffee. I like coffee.
Hey, I grew up drinking coffee and turning the lights on and off.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where is that GPS module here? GPS.
How's mobile?
So Carlos, what do you
Yes, sir.
think about the DJI FPV module?
Two things. Again, it's DJI. They're already asking for updates. They're like they control you. I don't like that. But I also heard that as far as distance, you don't get the clear, crisp picture as you start going further away. And the other
Oh, well,
thing
that's
is,
with any drone, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much on that.
depends how far. But with the it also, unlike Mitch, he knows how to solder and build stuff and take stuff apart. That's not my forte. I don't build, not at this point. So that would be already a.
Oh, so you have to put it together?
Well, you have to solder it to your controller. You do have to.
Okay.
You do have to
I don't know
solder.
if you realize they don't actually give you the drone. They just give you the stuff to put on the drone. When
And
I
if
first
you-
saw
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if you're gonna
Body in a camera.
right, and if you're gonna just use the camera and the goggles, you only need to hook up 2 wires, and it's totally separate from all the rest of your drone, the receiver and everything. If you want to have the camera in your thing integrate with the telemetry of your drone and be able to display OSD in the thing, then you got to hook up 4 wires. You got to hook up a UART to get the information from Betaflight into the OSD. And then if you want to actually use it as a receiver and use their transmitter, then you hook up 6 wires total. But you don't need to use their transmitter, and you don't need to use that receiver, even though you're buying it, it's in there. You don't need to use that. You can still use your regular old Tyrannus or whatever you're using and the receiver that you already have.
Okay.
I've been looking at it, and I always get the urge to have the latest and newest thing, but there's a couple of videos that I watched once the hype of how beautiful and wonderful and fabulous and DJI it is. And there are some real technical things that I think that they need to address. And I believe the problem comes with the variable latency. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say variable latency.
When
you fly a regular FPV drone, the latency never changes. In other words, if it's 25 milliseconds or 30 milliseconds, it's constant. No matter you fly away and you fly until you lose all your signal, or you lose your picture, or your drone loses its connection to the radio, but the latency is still the same, because it's not going to change. But
it's constant.
What happens with DJI? So the point that these guys were making on their video was that if you're an FPV pilot, and you snap it to the right to do a quick roll, your brain has already got that slight, tiny little bit of latency built in after a while to when you let go of the stick. Okay. And it may be a little early but the idea is for the drone to come out of it straight. And if your latency is like 25, 30, 40 milliseconds, you will not even realize because you're quiet. Now, with the way the DJI thing works is that as the signal degrades, what they do is they lower the frame rate, which increases the latency. And some of the guys that have been flying them further away have been seeing latencies 200 to 300 milliseconds, which is
You're
10
in a tree by then.
10
Roosevelt,
times the latency.
If you're passing something here in your goggles, you're really already 10 feet possibly
Right.
in front of that, so you could potentially crash.
And think
Real-
about
real-
right. Think about latency like this. If your camera is recording 30 frames a second, and you're 1 frame behind,
Yeah.
that's 35 milliseconds
Yeah.
per frame. Okay.
Cruising
At
at 40
30
miles
frames
an
a
hour.
second, 30 frames a second, 1 frame every 35 milliseconds. You're never going to see the frame at exactly the time that it's recorded. So you're always 1 frame behind. But when it starts dropping frames, for every frame it drops, you lose another 35 milliseconds. And what this guy, I forget who did it, he actually put up the side by side the comparison of the DVR footage from the drone, where it was recording the HD on the SD card in the drone, and the DVR from his goggles, and ran them on the same timeline, and you can see how far behind the goggle feed got because of all the drop frames. And he had to stop he had to make an adjustment in his editing software every minute or so, or every few seconds to make up for those lost frames. Well, that lost frames is actually lost time that you will be behind the drone because of the higher latency. That scares me. So if you're flying,
because you never know, you could crash into someone or something.
If you're doing a race,
you think you have more time, but you really don't, because what you're experiencing is just that much time behind.
Exactly.
Does
And
that make sense?
I think that that to me is a detriment. So if all you're doing is up there cruising around, not doing nice cinematic stuff, it probably wouldn't be that bad. Who we lose? We lost Roosevelt.
He jumped up, he fell off.
You probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be that bad, but if you're trying to do this race, drone racing,
right,
it probably wouldn't be that bad either, because you're close to it. See, you're
speed. I mean, I don't know. I know. I'm sure if you Google it, how many feet are you traveling per second when you are going, let's say, 50 miles an hour? Maybe 10. 12 feet. I don't know.
Meters per second is how they do speed. So like 10 meters per second is like what, 30 miles an hour or something like that.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So that's a long distance for 1 second.
It is, especially when you're trying to shoot gaps and things. So for that reason, the fact that it's variable latency like that scares me. It scares me enough to not want to get involved with it right now, because I need all that. I can't afford to have anything else going against me when I'm learning how to fly these things. I need everything to be working just perfect.
Call it coincidence, but all 3 of us wear the same kind of goggles, other than Artco.
We
all have the FX2.
I suppose we're old and wear glasses, I like those FX. I like those FXT goggles.
I like them.
I
don't
do.
use the bottom part either. I don't even use it. I don't put it on.
I stopped using the bottom part, and boy, what a difference it makes! It's so nice. In fact, it's really cool.
Still using the bottom part.
Is you can land the drone really cool, because if you get the thing closer, you can kind of lift your head up and land it line of sight.
I was able to catch the tiny hawk in my hand when it was coming at me, just because at that second I lifted up.
That's cool.
Ed likes to be the all in, right, Ed?
Yeah. It's nice to be all
I
in.
find it's also cooler. And then living in New York, you always want to be able to, just in case.
and it makes it easier. To get him over the glasses, you have to pull him out with the bottom thing on. Yeah, you can just kind of.
What they do is they suggest putting him on your face and then bringing it back.
Yeah, that's because I usually set them up on top of my head. I swear, I think I look like I have a refrigerator on my head.
And what antennas are you using, Mitch?
I'm using a linear patch on one side and a far view right-hand polarized on the other side.
But all of them are right-hand polarized, right?
Well, yeah. And you know that right hand is no better than left hand. It just has to be matched on both ends. Yeah, because
people talk about this. Oh, if it spins this way, it bounces off buildings better. I call that a crock of crap.
well, it's a polarized antenna will pick up less multipath distortion. You know what multipath is?
Yeah, you got getting reflections off.
Exactly. Remember when we used to watch the old TV sets and you'd move the antenna around and you'd see ghosting. You'd see a ghosted image off to the side. But what that is you're receiving the signal from the transmitter, and then you're receiving the signal that bounced off of something that gets to your TV a couple milliseconds late and causes a second part of that image.
Okay, all right, Mitch. So you're trying to tell me that one rotation is better than the other?
No. It doesn't matter. Which you have. It only matters that if you have a right hand on, the right hand will reject the left hand stuff. So if you have a left hand,
I'm completely on board with that.
Yeah,
I get that.
You understand? The worst case would be to have a left hand on your transmitter and a right hand on your receiver, because you're that maximum rejection of the signal instead of the. But some people have even suggested that you see all kinds of things. Put one right hand and one left hand on your goggle.
Carlo convinced he should move his patch to the other side of his goggles.
No, I don't think that. Yeah,
Mitch, you know what I was doing? I was flying with a right hand antenna on the quad and left hand on my patch.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's useless. So,
but I didn't know.
But you have diversity at least. So your other receiver was.
Yeah, I learned
to show you. You remember that video I made about how I found my lost quad?
Yes.
I used the patch antenna.
Right.
It's so directional.
Yeah.
It's so directional that you throw your quad into low power. And we have the little signal strength meters for A and B on the top of the Viper. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just move that like this, like you're direction finding, and you watch that signal go up to 85 and down to 29, and as you come back, it goes back up to 85. And I walked right through the thing when I finally figured out how to
you can actually use RSSI to do that too, Mitch.
Yeah, I imagine you probably could, but the patch antenna is so directional that as you turn it even a few degrees away from the drone, it shows a dramatic decrease in.
No, the patch sounds like a great idea. And actually, before I ever got a patch, with my old goggles, when I was looking for a lost quad, I used to take the antennas off of it just to make it less sensitive. So at least I knew I was close when I got a video signal.
Hey, Ed, have you used smart audio on your Mobi yet?
No, I have not, but I know it's capable because it took way too many wires to solder the canopy back on. It's got to have smart audio.
Right. No, this way you can make sure you're on the right channel too.
Yeah, because when you do a channel search, half the time you end up on an adjacent channel.
You know that your auto search isn't always exact, right, Mitch?
No, it's not even close sometimes. You think you're on A1 and it shows you're on B7 or something.
Yeah. It's harmonics of the video feed, and if you're up close, it'll think that's the best signal ever.
And then you take off, and all of a sudden you don't have any pictures.
You get 50 feet away, and it goes Delta Sierra.
Have you guys ever used another thing I learned this week, which I never knew? There's so much to learn, that like I said last week, I said I don't even know what I don't know, because I found out something I didn't know.
Tell us, Mitch.
All right, Art, let me tell you. So I took off. I took this thing off in stabilized mode. I'm going to make myself a little bigger here. You guys just have to get off to the side. I took this off. This is the 7-inch Tyro 179. So I took this thing off for the first time in stabilized mode, just to make sure it was going to hover. And I had calibrated the accelerometer. You all know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It took off and it drifted really started drifting backwards, much faster and than I had ever had one in angle mode. And I said, what's this? I said, must be that I didn't calibrate the accelerometer right. So I went in and I recalibrated it and took it back out, and it did the same thing. I had to hold quite a bit of forward stick, and I thought maybe it was the wind, but it wasn't. So I started to research what would cause that, and come to find out it's not uncommon that there are other factors influencing the gyros in these things that'll cause that. And I learned that there are stick commands that you can trim your accelerometer from your transmitter. Did any of you guys know that?
I know about smart audio where you can do a
No,
lot
this
of
is not smart audio. This is actually stick commands that allow you to change beta flight settings.
But that's what smart audio does.
Yeah, but this is different than smart audio. So here's how this works. When the quad is disarmed, okay, you push the throttle all the way up, and you'll see, yeah, your throttle stick.
Is it that one? I thought it was the other side. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm mode 2, so this is my throttle. That's the left side. Yeah. All right. So you put the throttle all the way up. When you do that, you'll look at the LED on your flight controller will start blinking, which means it's waiting for a command. If you're drifting back, you need to trim forward. You just push this stick up once like this.
Oh, okay.
Or twice, or just hold it there. And when you hold it there, you can watch the light on the quad blink, ding, 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 ding. And you might need to give it 40, 20, 30, start out with maybe 5 or 10. So, and then when you're done, you pull both sticks back.
Right.
Like you back to the bottom and out to the right. And that saves the settings. Then you arm your quad and you fly. And you trim it up just like using a trim tab, but you don't want to use trim tabs on the radio because that'll screw you up from one mode to another. See, you don't want to use that. So I learned that not only can you do that, there's a whole raft of commands that is the only way guys used to be able to do this until they had all of this other stuff, all this OSD stuff and other things that ways to tune it graphically in Betaflight. It used to, in the early days of FPV, you had to do everything with these stupid stick commands. But I
don't think I've ever taken off stabilized with any of the quads.
Well, if you get in trouble, it's nice to know where that switch is.
Oh yeah, no, that's
oriented. You click it, at least it'll level your quad. And if you're flying around in a house or something, it's fun to fly. But if you have a quad and you in stabilized mode, it's not staying where it's supposed to. You can trim it up that way. And I never knew that, so I learned that too.
Where'd you get that information from?
Well, there's a number of videos online and a number of articles about it. I just kind of typed in, FPV quad accelerometer or angle mode not trimmed, and you get all kinds of information. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's a little handy little
good
tip
to know.
Yeah,
I love OSD. No, because that's what I do with my particular goggles. I'll search, and if my goggle says a certain channel, then I go to the quad and I match it to the channel that the goggles are set.
I do I do the opposite. I display my channel settings in my goggles, so when it does, in other words,
I've done that too, and I don't like the channel that I'm put on. Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit.
No, you can put it anywhere you want on the quad. You can set the quad, especially if you got smart audio. You can go in there with the transmitter sticks and say go to race 3 or go to Fat Shark 4 or whatever you want. But what I do when I turn the thing on and say find it on my OSD, it has the channel, because that also tells me the output power. It says like R:3:2. You see the 3 numbers, and that gives you your band, your channel, and your output power. Okay, I want to see that. I want to know that my output power is set to what I want it to be set.
What do you set at 200?
It depends on which. If it's a bigger quad and I got 8, I usually set it to the next to highest power. Max. Yeah, I probably ought to. Yeah.
I got to run, Mitch. It's good seeing y'all.
All right, Ed, good to see you. Thanks for coming.
It's great to be here. Great
Yeah,
to be Mitch.
Well,
put the bird up in the air.
happy flying.
See y'all later. Nah, I gotta go see Night Train.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
All
Take care.
Later.
Thanks
See
for
y'all.
coming, buddy. Okay.
right.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Bye bye. So it's the three of us
Yeah, the three amigos.
portrait mode. Let's see.
Yeah,
There
there we go. That's better.
That's
Yeah,
better.
Carlos looks much sharper.
That's
I,
actually good to know, Mitch. I'm glad you taught me that.
it's so what I do is when I find a thing in my goggles and it lands on a channel and I can read the OSD, I said, what channel is the drone really on? And I'll look down at the little thing and it'll tell me A1 or something like that. Then I look up at the top on my goggles and it says I'm set to B7. I say, no good. So you push the little joystick to the right, get the little grid up there, go up to the real channel you're on and select it. And what I really should do, is
favorite, right? Mitch?
What?
If you go left, you can set your favorites.
Yeah, I don't even have favorites yet. I just think what I'm going to do. There's two things I want to do. I want to standardize because I've got like 6 or 8 drones now, and I want to standardize the OSD to be the same on all of them.
Makes sense.
So I'm going to capture a video frame of one of my recordings of the drone and use that when I set up a next drone and make sure that I have all the same information in the same place. So I don't have to look around, wonder where the hell did I put the airspeed this time? Where did I put the battery thing this time? Where did I put the time? What time it's over here? What time it's, so I'm going to standardize that. And I'm going to try to find a channel. I'm going to start experimenting that has the best video picture, the least amount of dropouts.
What do you suppose affects that? I mean, here's a question. I was wondering: does the time of day affect your video quality? Mornings,
everything can affect it. Everything. Right?
Even like strong sun, or I don't know, what do they call that? Like something with the sun and the magnetic or whatever. I don't know.
There's all kinds of things.
Solar flares.
There's got to be a channel, I think, that that's going to be better. And then I want to try to standardize. So I know where when I go from one drone to another, that I'm on the same channel. Yeah. Let me take a look at the chat here.
I just looked over there. Thomas O'Sullivan is in the chat.
Tomas, he said.
Tomas.
I asked him earlier. I said, how do you pronounce it? I said, put in 1 for Tomas, 2 for Thomas. And he put 1 in there. And then he said he forgot which number meant what. So I don't know.
Tomas,
I got it. Tomas. Yeah. EBR. I've got the OSD the same. Yeah, exactly. EBR. I think that's a smart thing. And I want to do that because it is confusing. I want to get used to looking in the same place for something. Fly Natural. Roosevelt's still here. He said something happened to his connection. Roosevelt, always a pleasure to have you. And you know, anytime. I think what I'm going to do on these streams, instead of sending out emails to everybody, because most of the people, can't make it or don't, or don't like me anymore, or got tired of me, or whatever the reason.
How could that be?
Listen, even I get tired of me sometimes, so I imagine everybody else can. I think I'm just going to throw the thing out in the chat. The nice thing
about StreamYard is you can have people join your backstage and not kick them out. Did you know that?
Yeah, right. And if you get somebody and there's a troublemaker, you just kick them out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why? He's always in your backstage, so you can't have a private conversation.
Back in the green room. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, I really like this StreamYards, and I know Bill Thomas last night had his Wednesday night coast to coast drones, a drone therapy thing, and he was using. He actually paid for it. He paid. He got the paid section. So.
Wow.
And he really likes it. And Mel has got his terrible video connection. internet connection, and it was on his live stream the other night. He was trying to use his vMix, and I don't blame him because he paid a lot of money for that and he wants to use it. But they kept getting kicked off because it couldn't handle all of the communications.
Right.
And he went back on and finally came back on with StreamYards, and it was perfect.
Right.
So why not? If you can run like I'm doing, if you like OSD and you want to have all the fancy transitions and camera changes,
right.
You want to show people your screens, you want to show your screens, you want to show yourself, you want to say I'll be right back. You can do all this stuff and put it right into the StreamYards.
Right.
And then if I wanted to, very easily, I could make myself full screen. And there's almost no difference between this and just running OSD. So
is there any way of contacting the developers of StreamYard and letting them know about that? I think that's a flaw, that you can't kick people out if you put that in the StreamYard ID or whatever you want to call it on the chat, and then you can potentially get any knucklehead to join your backstage, but then they're always there. You can't kick them out.
Well, I don't know. Isn't there? You can remove them from the stream.
Yeah, I think there is.
We're doing now, but then they're stuck in the backstage. You can't get rid of them unless you shut down, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't think about that you can't eject them with but for my little stream with the 10, 20 people I have, I never get many people, and they're all friends and they're all good people that I know. And only one time did I ever get trolled. One time on a stream we had about 5 or 6 guys, and I mean, they got taken care of so fast their heads must have spun. Because we have nothing but moderators here, right? And these guys, they catch the trolls, I got to tell you.
I used StreamYards for my arts place last Sunday, and it worked great. I had a guest on who was she was gathering signatures for a petition to recall our governor, and evidently some liberals showed up, and there was quite a commotion going on where some clipboard with some petitions was taken and broken, and
the peace love.
Peace love. I can't you never judge a book by its cover, because you seem like a regular, nice, calm guy, but I think you're a butt kicker at the end of the day, right? Part-time troublemaker.
Oh man. So Rick Albert does I can't keep up. That's a problem. Trying to do this and keep up with the chat at the same time makes you.
Well, when you're the host, the chat is over on the right, which I really like, because then I don't have to flip over to YouTube all the time and
check. I can't see a chat. You see a chat, Art?
Oh no, you can see a chat on your
it's the private chat.
If you hit the comments up top.
Right.
Just click on the over on the right up top. It says comments. But let me show you. This is what my screen looks like.
Right.
Okay. Here, let me get me
That's
out of
right. It. Yeah.
So down here, and this is my OBS that I'm running, and this is this one. Can you see my mouse moving around? This window here is my staged window, and then this one over here is what's live.
Right.
And then I got all my scenes and everything, and then up here I keep a little folder full of different videos. So if I want to throw up a video of some flying, I can double click it real quick and throw it over on my right monitor and switch over to it. Then this in the center here is the window with StreamYards.
Right.
So this is where I control all that stuff. And then I have my chat off over here to the right, and I make it full screen and tall, so I can see all the way back quite a bit.
Right.
Chat. So that's what I'm looking at here when I do this, and it works out great. But I have the window where you guys are, where I look at who I'm talking to right underneath my camera. Uh-oh. Sorry, Art, I didn't do that. Did you?
I'm innocent.
Yeah, Art just like, boom, just must have hit the wrong button. There he comes. Okay.
Pressed on.
Hit the wrong button, did you?
Yeah. I was just kind of screwing around and I go, oh, that's not it.
Yeah, it wasn't. But no, it works out great. I put that in the middle of the screen right up towards the camera, and that forces me to look up when I'm talking, because I have a terrible tendency when I'm live streaming, not being a performer or anything like that. I have a tendency to be looking
down,
looking over here and looking over there, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't, none of us pretend, except you are. You're a showman. You've been in
absolutely
professional show business.
Yeah.
Well, he said he worked with Jeff Dunham.
Yes, I have. I've worked with him a couple times. He's one of my favorite ventriloquists. I've worked.
He's the father of Walter.
When I worked with them, was
see the resemblance?
Yeah, I do see. Yeah, kind of looks like Joe Biden too.
Well, my son said, he says, I got this because he looks like you. I said, I think it's more my attitude that matches.
Yeah. Now, when I worked with them was before Ahmed.
That's who
was his characters back then?
Walter, Peanut, Jose. I think Bubba was one of them too.
But Ahmed is the best. I kill you. Ahmed is the best.
Oh yeah, he
throws his voice. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. He's a talented guy. I enjoy watching. Oh, he loves. Tomas says he loves Peanut. Yeah, Peanut is.
Yeah,
they're all great. I've got.
When I worked for him, he was making his second comeback, and then when you saw him with Ahmed, that was his third comeback, because his career had its peaks and valleys. Where when he was first on the Tonight Show, his star rose way up, and then it came down, and then there was this lull. And then when I worked with him, that was back when he was working, just playing comedy clubs around the country, and that's when his career started to take off, and he started to get some more TV gigs, and then he started working arenas, and that's when things really started going. And now he's doing he's not a judge, but one of the MC of the Food Network.
No kidding.
Yeah, that was during Christmas time though. Huh. Yeah, so I'm like going, boy, how low is your career going when you're on the Food Network?
The network is getting higher ratings than CNN and MSNBC right now.
Yep, that's right. Valerie Bertinelli's got her own show on Food Network.
I remember her from One Day at a Time.
Oh yeah, I know. I had
a crush on her.
Yeah, because we were about the same age when she was on that show.
Really?
Yep.
Hey, Drone Bum.
You're under 60 years old?
I will be 60 in January.
Okay.
Yep.
Drone Bum said something funny. He said, "Did you catch Drone Bum's comment? We were talking about OSDs, and he comes on and says, I did too much OSD in the 70s. That deserves a mention. That's a funny comment. So I'm not too much older than you are. At least I'm not that bad.
You're not ancient.
Not ancient quite yet.
Yeah.
You only got 3 years on me, Art.
And Ken Herron, he's going to be 53 in a couple weeks.
Yeah, he's 53.
Really? I thought he was older. Wow.
Ken was funny. I sent. I don't think he'd mind me saying this, but I sent him an email about this. I sent him an email, and I sent Bill an email about this drama that was going on. It wasn't I didn't take sides. It was just an observational kind of thing.
Right.
And he answered me back, and at the end of the email, he said, "By the way," he says, "he wants to be me in 20 years," is what he said. And I said, and I wrote him back, and I told him to be very, very careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a nice cop.
Yeah.
What was the name of that controller? Do you remember?
Oh, the Aviator.
The Aviator. I saw his last video.
Yeah,
not too kind.
No.
Speaking of spin up, how's that for a segue? Speaking of spin up, this morning I'm saying to myself, maybe it would be fun to go to spin up.
Yeah, why not go?
And so I started looking at the hotels, and it's $300 for 2 nights in the hotel plus the tax. Okay, so that's $300, and it's 100. At this time, it's like 140, 150.
Yeah, 140. I think.
Get into spin up, and you got to get there. And if I did go, I would drive. I know it's a long drive, but I like road trips. I haven't been on a road trip in a while, and I thought it would be, if I was going to do something, I'd take a whole week. Head on out, stop in New Orleans on the way.
There you go.
A road trip. But then I went and looked at the speakers that are going to be there, and I don't particularly, for me, and this is nothing on any of these people, but the Remote Pilot 101 guys got nothing to offer me, okay, because I'm a commercial licensed pilot and flight instructor, and I already got a 107. Yeah. So I don't need anything from him. The astronaut, I'm sure he's a very nice guy and impressive, but I don't need to hear him speak, because I've already personally known astronauts and talked to them. And then they got some marketing babe that's social media babe that's going to talk, and then Kestelou from Droning On, and that's the only 4 speakers they got right now. I thought the drone guys are going to talk. I mean, where are the drone guys?
Where are the drone guys?
Where are they? Where
have they gone?
Where's like last year they had Billy Kyle and Ken Herron and all that. Where?
Oh, I'm sure they'll be speaking.
You think? Well, why don't they?
They're going to be speaking. Yeah.
So just based on the fact that it's only one day, and it's an awful lot of driving and a lot of money for an 8-hour deal, the only real allure or attraction that it has for me would be to meet all my new friends that I've made in YouTube. Oh, come on, Art.
He's a character, isn't he?
Yeah. But I would love to meet all the guys, put faces to the names and shake hands and all that. But
that's about it. That's the highlight.
Yeah,
it's to meet all.
But I'm just afraid. Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that it's clicky. It will be clicky.
Oh yeah, I think so. There's going to be certain groups that you'll be into that, and you'll be into. Oh, there's the FPV crowd over there, and here's the camera and drone guys. Oh, and here's the big shot, Kelly Shores and Ken Herron and
subscriber.
And
a lot of cases.
And there's Jeff too hanging out with them. Hey, I think there'll
be a lot of subscriber envy going on, but I don't know at this point. Ooh, I still might go. So who's going? I wanted to ask.
I got my ticket. I'm just working on the airfare and the hotel. I'm still working on
Texas,
it.
Right?
Yes, it's in Austin.
It's 1,000 miles from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you're willing to drive that much, huh? You're good.
Oh, hell, I used to drive 1,000 miles to fly model jets for the weekend.
Wow.
So, towing a big trailer full of airplanes.
Oh, I used to drive 1,000 miles when I was doing comedy.
Sean Oz, that's right, Rick. Sean Oz is. Rick, so if you're going in the chat, let me know, because I still got, we still have time to decide, and I'm kind of on the fence. I don't see much
Drone Bum says he wants to meet us little people.
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
I'll be the shortest guy there. At
Mitch, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat some din din.
All right.
Well, listen, hang around another 2 minutes because we're just about coming to the end of this thing, and I'm going to sign off so I can shut all this equipment down real fast. Grab.
Drone Bum is out there.
I'm ready. I got it right here. I got it right here. See.
What is it? Oh, the cigar. Yeah. Are you seeing the rest of your stock?
This is me right here. Yeah, I'm ready, and I'm going to go out on my porch. So if I say hi in the chat on the Ken Herron show is a waste of time because it goes by so fast that nobody's anyway. And if somebody says hello to me, I hope they don't get insulted because I'll be on my cell phone, and I type it on that cell phone is just cumbersome.
I don't think I've watched more than maybe 5-6 minutes of Ken, and
I enjoy his show.
I did.
On Mel's stream with Bill and Dan the other night. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I was on that panel.
Yeah. And then there was
So I got somebody calling. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay, Art, take it easy. We know who's more important. There we are.
Yeah, that was pretty dramatic. I almost felt sorry for him, Mr. Bill.
I don't know. I don't. Bill is not a close personal friend. We but he's the guy that got me into this, into the YouTube stuff. Yeah, it's I've told the story, and he's a decent guy. He's harmless. He's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's the guy that started. He's the guy that got Art Carlson going. I don't know if you know that or not, but he's the guy that started the GoFundMe thing for Art.
Gotcha.
That was all him. He's a nice guy. He's just got his issues like
a sense of humor.
Well, that's just it. You got to get you don't even need a tough skin. You just have to be able to laugh at yourself, man. If you don't have the ability to laugh at yourself,
right,
you're doomed in this world. That's for sure.
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah. So at any rate, with that note, and our dwindling viewership that's getting ready that's always jumps ship around this time to Whizbang's here. Man, who else? Let me say goodbye to everybody in the chat that's still here. Whizbang, Drone Bum, Rick Halper, thanks for coming by and hanging in there.
I'm going to text you soon.
EBR, thank you. And Tomas and Wiz and Drone Bum and Rick and Tomas and Rick and Drone Bum and Rick and Brent. And that's about it. Okay. I want to say goodnight to everybody. And that 2 hours went by in a big hurry. So I enjoy these things. I really enjoy these things. It's like a night out with the boys.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So you take care and let me get
before it gets cold, Mitch.
Okay, all right. We'll see you later, buddy.
Oh, by the way, maybe on Ice Spike on Saturday.
Okay, see you then.
Catch you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I will bring the music up like I do because if nothing else, I want to try to make a professional ending. So I will see you all next time, and I'll catch you in the chat in Ken Herron show. And Spank wants to say goodbye. We'll let Spank say goodbye. And with that, take the rest of the night off. Go play with your drones. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care.